Welcome to the lounge, everyone. My name is Toby Roydell, and in today's second and final part, I want to tell you why university can sometimes not be worth it. A few weeks ago, after 5 years of university, I finally finished my master's degree in general management. Woo. And that makes me kind of eligible to talk about whether going to university is worth it or not. If you only want to hear the good sides of university, you can check out my last video if you do not want to hear the bad and the ugly. And exactly as last time, a lot of personal opinion coming today. Every one of you or some of you might have had a completely different experience, and that is fine as well. Whether university is for you or nothing for you highly depends on what kind of person you are and what you expect from university. Many students are, or some students, I don't know, some students are maybe not bothered at all when a university has a completely horrendously bad organization. And some people, like me for example, ask themselves in every single course, why do I need this? What is the reason that I have to learn this? Where do I need this later on? What is the value of this lesson, of this course? And here is where, especially in my field of study, and general management belongs to economics in a broader sense, I heavily lack answers to the questions just before. With around 70%, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but around 70% of stuff that I learned, I have no clue whatsoever why I had to learn this and when this will ever be useful. Like ever. No clue. And I know that I am not alone with this. And I know all the arguments saying, well, you as a student, you still don't know why you learn these things and you will be thankful years later. Yeah, blah blah. What a stupid excuse. Like how can you tell a student that probably 70% of what he does is absolutely useless, or he sees no sense behind it? Like, for example, all the things that I thought to be useless in my maths class in school still are useless. And all those things that I back then thought, that might be relevant years later, was relevant. Like, spot on. Many things were bound to be useless, and some things were bound to be useful. But the ratio is horrendous, and in uni it gets worse and worse. Let me give you a practical example from my field of study, from economics. In my bachelor and master courses, over the whole period, I had to take 4 separate courses on corporate strategy in different variations. But basically corporate strategy. What is it about? It is about what the strategy is that a company has and how they conduct their business. Like the strategy above everything else. How things are done in this company and what the big goals are. And I learned the names of the different strategies over and over again, and how they should work in theory and which company might do this or that strategy. But the thing is, every course ended with sort of the same line. A company needs to have a good strategy. No, for real, Sherlock. But how do I do this? How do I create a strategy? How do I rally my people behind it so they follow what my vision is? How do I create such help? They don't have an answer to that. Only to those things that you could Google on Wikipedia. All those things, like what a strategy is, what kinds of strategies there are, what the scientists and the literature is on that, that's on Wikipedia. I could read that as well. Like saying a company needs to have a good strategy is the exact same thing as telling a medicine student, a future doctor, when you have a patient and he's in pain, heal him. Helpful. This is so unspecific. and therefore an absolute waste of time. And this is what universities seem to be famous for. They have accumulated such an abundance of trash that you do not remember anything, or almost anything, years later. Is that the reason that we study? Why we study? Let me show you something. Look at this. You stay here. This is what I have written down because I'm more of a paper writer, not so much of a PC writer. So this is what I wrote down in my 5 years. I'm not showing you this because it's a lot. It's not. This is nothing. This just for me is a lot because I hate writing down much. I don't write down literally anything. But still for me this is a lot. But I know so many people, and this is not an exaggeration, that have this tenfold. Tenfold. And you could ask me, what do I remember and what can I tell you out of those things if you give me a word from any page? Please don't. And this on top is my master thesis, by the way. This is 84 pages. Like a medium-sized thesis at my uni. And this is actually only half of the pages. It's actually double the size because of the statistical analysis part in the end that I didn't print out because it's not necessary. So, yeah. What else should I say here? So, why are we putting ourselves through this misery? Why studying 10 semesters of economics? Well, because a bachelor has to have 6 semesters and a master has to have 4 semesters. I know there are exceptions to those. There are fields of study that combine those or are a bit long or a bit shorter, whatever, doesn't matter. On average, 6 semesters bachelor, 4 semesters master. In my case, for instance. I will tell you, they just bloated. There is not enough content. At most, and this might already be a stretch, in economics there is content for 4 semesters in total. There just isn't anything more to say that really makes sense. There's so much repetition, and nothing of that which gets repeated gets discussed in a deeper way. Not at all. It's just that long because it has to be. Why do we not stop after 4 semesters or after 3 semesters a bachelor and then get the people to work? Get those people, get us, get me to work in the field so that I can know if this is the right thing for me. Or if I want to switch to anything else or want to go a different direction, whatever. Get me out of there, get us out of there. 10 semesters is ridiculous. Now you can say, Toby, what do you know? What do you know? You don't know the didactic concepts of the pedagogy experts who invented and came up with this system. You don't know that. You could say that. Because I don't know what the hell went into them. Absolutely not. Or you could start asking the people. Asking students, asking even professors and teachers. Asking them what they experience on an everyday basis. What they experience every single day. Ask around what a medicine student, a future doctor, tells you. Whether they think it is important to know every single bone of the body by the Latin name. And what it feels like when they go into the hospital for the first time and are inferior to every single nurse because they actually know how to do stuff they have never heard of. Ask a philosophy student why he has to know the birth date of every single French philosopher in history and why they have written their philosophical ideas and theories in this specific way. When we have philosophical and ethical questions that are pressing topics right now that need to be solved. Now, for humanity. Ask a law student why they have to know that the name of that specific judge of that local court who once decided in a specific case that in this or that way in 1979. It's ridiculous, but they have to know for some godforsaken reason. I mean, if we don't have any big issues in the world, I'm perfectly fine with that. But we have Like, how can you not see that this is an absolute waste of time? And not only a waste of time, but also, and more pressingly, a waste of potential. Like, may I remind you again that we have some quite serious issues in the world right now. Why are we wasting so much time? Get us out there and let us solve those problems that the past generations thoroughly fuck up. These are exactly the same people that now hold us back in universities for a ridiculous amount of time, so we can't solve them. Because we are not out there doing stuff. We are sitting here writing pages over pages of stuff nobody wants to read anytime in the future. Just to pat ourselves on the shoulders how great we are to write 80 or 90 or 100 pages about something. Of course, once in a while there's a great revelation in that. Great, but I don't want to be a scientist. If you want to be a scientist, this might be your way. This might be the exact path that you take, and that makes sense for you. But for many people, me included, it doesn't. We get so bloated and shit on with useless nonsense that we have no brain capacity, and I noticed this on myself, that I have no brain capacity left to learn those things that I want to know about my field, that got me into my field, that made it so fascinating and interesting to me in the beginning. I am told what I have to know. I am even told what I need to want to know. But what if I do not want to know what the multivariate regression analysis for the assessment of distinctness and uniformity of a dataset is? Again, I can really only speak for my own field of study, because it's the only one that I really experienced. But I refuse to believe that this is not the same, or at least somewhat comparable to all other fields or most other fields of studying, of going to university, of courses, whatever you want to call it. I mean, what I hear from future teachers, from becoming teachers, what absolute garbage they have to learn. It's mind-boggling. No sane human being, I don't know. And what is this stuff with communication sciences? I mean, don't even get me started. Universities are nowhere comparable to practical life anymore. I mean, I don't even know if I can say anymore. I can only assess how they are right now. I have no clue how they were 20 years ago. But right now, they have almost no link, no connection to the practical world anymore. I mean, if you don't care about this, or if this is your only choice to work in the field that you want to work, of course, university is your way to go. But the question is, do you actually have a choice? That is a weird question here. Would I study again? Definitely yes. But the question is, do I really have a choice? Because of what I want to work as later. Isn't that sad? But enough for this series of Toby hating on universities. I'm done now with it, and a part of me sure is happy about it. Guys, studying was still a great time. And I know this sounds weird after me ranting on about universities for almost 20 minutes now. But it is still a memorable time. It's a time of personal growth, of character growth, of getting to know many new people I'm now really happy that I came to know. Through a connection to the same field of study, interests and like-minded thoughts. Studying is a great and memorable time in life. But the biggest and main skill that I acquired in the last 5 years is frustration tolerance. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked it. If you have any opinions on this, you can share them down below. My name is Toby Roydell, and as always, I will see you again next time here in my lounge.